I hope you're well and having the most incredible day. As always, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. In today's video, we're going to be diving into my April reading wrap up. So I actually managed to get through 7 books this month, which wasn't as high as I would have liked. I think, to be honest, I probably could have got through maybe another one, but it was just too much of a rush and I didn't want to kind of rush it too much. So I stopped at 7, which I am somewhat happy with. I'm still on track to hit my 80 books for the year, so I can't complain. But yeah, I have a really interesting bunch of books to share with you this month. As always, I would love to know down below what you read this month, what you loved, what you didn't like so much, and any books you would recommend, let me know. But yes, without further ado, we are going to dive right in. I hope you guys enjoy and carry on watching. So the first book I read in April was When in Rome by Sarah Adams. Now, I've not actually read any other books by Sarah Adams before. I do have the cheat sheet on my TBR. I haven't picked it up yet. I don't really know why, but I decided to pick this one up. This one I bought from The Works on a whim. I think it was part of the 3 for £6 deal, if I remember correctly. But essentially what this one is about a girl called Amelia who goes by Ray Rose. She's a massive country musician. You kind of learn that at the start, and she decides to go to Rome, Kentucky for a getaway. She kind of goes against her manager's wishes and just gets away and has some peace and quiet. There she meets Noah, who is a pie shop owner, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But it's such a really easy romance read. It was very predictable, I'm not gonna lie, but it was nice. It was a nice predictable read. The only thing about this I didn't like, which is why I actually did give it a 4 out of 5, is the closed door romance spice scenes. It was kind of, I just wanted a bit more, do you know what I mean? Like, it was very vanilla, but that's fine. Some people like vanilla, I don't personally, but if you like vanilla, you'll really like this one. I absolutely loved all the characters in this as well. I love all the can't get my words out. I loved all the side characters, which was really nice, and it made it such a nice, easy read. And yeah, I really liked this one. Again, it was a 4-star read. There's not really much more to say about it. I probably wouldn't read it again, but if you want a book that's really nice, really light, really easy to read, this is a good one. The next book I picked up was 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl by Mona Awad, is that how you pronounce her surname? She is the author of Bunny, which was a really, really popular book, and I picked this one up again on a whim because I bought Bunny from Waterstones and this was next to it, and I thought, well, I may as well pick it up. It's a very small book. It was 238 pages, but this book was just like, I can't even describe what this book is even about. I gave it a 1 star. Like, this was just one of those books where I left kind of thinking, like, what have I just read? Like, I don't even know. I've actually like ripped the front, so that's like not good. But I couldn't even tell you what this book is about. Like, I haven't got a clue. I'm reading the back, like, I don't even remember what her person's name was. So there's Lizzie, Elizabeth, so she was a bigger girl, and then she like goes through life losing weight, and it kind of goes back and forth from different parts of time and how she tries to impress people, and it's just like the storyline, there isn't really anything going on. It just didn't make sense to me. If you've read this book and you loved it, I'm really happy for you, but I just didn't get it. I didn't get the hype over this book. I didn't enjoy it, and I will never read this again. So yeah, it was a 1 star, unfortunately. I am excited to read Bunny though, but this book just made no sense whatsoever. And I did ask a few of you guys on Instagram as well, like, have you read this book? What did you think? And one of you said to me, like, I left thinking, like, what the hell have I just read? And that is exactly how I felt. Like, I just don't recall any of this book whatsoever. So I shan't ever read that again, but I'm glad that I've got that over with because it just like wasn't very good. Not gonna lie. The next book I picked up was mine and Kelsey's book club pick of the month, and that was Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. Now, I actually rarely read Colleen Hoover books anymore. She used to be my absolute favourite author, but ever since getting into reading, I have delved into other things, other genres, but I do love a classic Colleen book. I'm not gonna lie. This was a 5-star read, and it was just so good. It was not what I expected at all. I thought it was gonna be, I don't know, I thought it was gonna be a lot different, but it was such a nice read and I really, really enjoyed it. And also it is a hardback, which I am starting to really enjoy, which is very unlike me, but I'm really, really enjoying reading hardbacks at the moment. The basic gist of this story is you have a character called Bea who, right at the start of the book, her mum passes away. She lives with her mum in a trailer, and she finds her mum has passed away, so she goes and moves with her dad, who she didn't really know very well. She kind of lost touch with him over the years, and she goes to live with her dad in his like summer house, and she meets Samson, who is the next door neighbour. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to give it away, but it is such a good book. It was really, really like heartwarming, and just like, it was just really good. It was not what I expected at all, hence why I gave it a 5-star. I thought it wasn't predictable. I don't know what I thought this book would be about, but it was not what I thought it was going to be about, and I really, really enjoyed this. So yeah, a really great read if you like Colleen Hoover, or you want a book that's really easy and really kind of light. And there are some deep kind of topics in this book, I'm not gonna lie. Like, obviously you deal with her mum's passing right at the start, and then there's a few other things throughout the book that's a little bit like, I don't want to say sad, but like kind of sad. Just be wary. But it was a beautiful book. It ended perfectly. Like, the ending I was just so overjoyed with that it made me physically smile when I read it. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. It was really, really good, and I also love the cover of this book. It's beautiful. So yeah, 5-star. Loved it. Not much more I can say about that without giving it away, but it was just absolutely incredible. The next book I picked up was Black Ties and White Lies by Kate Singleton. Now, I did actually read this one on my Kindle. However, I absolutely love looking through this book because all the title pages are just beautiful. I really, really enjoyed it. It was such a good book. I will say, if you don't like spice, you will not like this book. It was very, very spicy. Definitely 5 chilies out of 5, or at least 4 out of 5. It was really good though. But essentially this one is about Beck and Margot, and Beck is Margot's ex's brother. It's a very good story, I'm not gonna lie, but it's a fake dating / fake engagement trope. So good. And essentially it's just so good. I cannot explain much more about this book other than it was obvious what was gonna happen. I won't lie to you. Like, when I read like a fake dating kind of story, you know what's going to happen. It's inevitable. But I was not disappointed. It was such a good book. I didn't realise how long it was though when I read it, but it is about 400 and something pages, but it was just a good book. I loved it. I would definitely reread it. It was so good. I have the kind of, what's this called? Like discreet cover, I suppose. There is another one which isn't even that bad of a cover. So yeah, this is one that I got and I absolutely loved it. 1,000,000 out of 10. It is a 5-star read, obviously, but yeah, it was just absolutely insane, and I just really, really enjoyed it. I also really loved all like the side characters as well, and the kind of story building of this book, and I just really envisioned the whole story and I could not put it down. So yeah, it was a 5-star read. Absolutely loved it. 1,000,000 out of 10. Incredible. The next book I decided to pick up in April was Funny You Should Ask by Elisa Sussman. Now, I have had this book in my possession for months and I had been putting off reading it. I don't really know why, if I'm being honest. I think I saw quite a few people say they didn't like this book, and I think that really put me off reading it. However, I thought, you know what, now's the time. It's not massively long. It was just over 300 pages. The floppiness of the book was just so comfy to read. I really enjoyed it. So overall, I gave this book a 5-star, and what this book is basically about is somebody called Chani, I think that's how you pronounce her name, who is a kind of reporter. She reports for like magazines, and I guess she's a journalist for like interviewing celebrities and stuff, and she interviews her celebrity crush, who obviously, you know, a dream come true, and then 10 years later she does it again, and you kind of get the back and forth about what happened within the first interview, and you kind of get their whole kind of, I don't want to say relationship because it's not, but how they kind of interacted with each other. I will say the only thing about this book I didn't like, and it was not that I didn't like it enough to kind of knock it a star or anything, was that it did go sort of back and forth within timelines. And if I can check on here, let me find a page as an example. Like, it didn't specify really like what period of time it was. Like, one of them would say now, and then one of them would say then, and it would just kind of it's not that it would make it confusing, but it wasn't very descriptive as in like what time it was, if that makes sense. I don't know, it kept making me a little bit confused, I'm not gonna lie. It might have just been for me, but that was the only thing about this I didn't like. But overall, I really liked this book. It ended really well. The only thing about the ending I didn't like, I felt it was a little bit on the rushed side. I would like to have seen a little bit more about the characters at the end and kind of what happens to them at the end. I'm really trying not to spoil it by saying anything, but I did really like this book. Again, it was a 5-star read. It was really nice, really easy to read, and I would recommend it. And there is another book coming out, or it's already out, called Once More with Feeling, I think it is, which I'm gonna have to pick up. So yeah, I really liked this book. I would definitely recommend it. The next book I decided to pick up was Restore Me by Tahira Mafi, which is another segment of the Shatter Me series, and I actually decided to read this on Audible, which I don't know how I feel about Audible, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know whether it was just me and that I was just being really stupid, but I could not get my head around the fact that you would pay monthly and only receive 1 credit to listen to one thing for your monthly payment. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. Let me know down below if you are an avid Audible user. I have since found a lot of Spotify accounts which have free audiobooks, so if you have any good ones, let me know. But yes, Restore Me. Now, I am absolutely obsessed with the Shatter Me series. The whole series is a 5-star read for me. I absolutely am obsessed with it. In my opinion, this book was a 4-star. It was not my favourite, but it wasn't bad at all. It was just a bit of a filler book, if that makes sense. Like, not a lot happened in this book, I don't think. It was more of a build up to the next section, if that makes sense. Like, there was a lot that happened sort of at the end, which was really nice. It kind of left you on a little bit of a cliffhanger, I guess. But the actual main chunk of this book, it was just a bit of a filler. That is why I gave it a 4-star, but it was still really good. It had a lot of information that you need to know and a lot more world building about what's been going on. But yeah, I'm not going to say much more about it because if you haven't read any of the Shatter Me series, I don't want to spoil it, but it was really good, just not my favourite one out of the bunch. So yeah, I have to read, I think, is it Find Me I have to read next, the novella, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, that was the next book I read. And last but definitely not least, we have Collided by Lauren Asher. Now, I say this in every video where I talk about books pretty much, that I really want to get through all the series I've started, and I am really trying my best to get through as many series that I've started as possible by the end of the year. I just have too many on the go at the moment, and I find it hard to remember what's previously happened if I'm starting too many kind of series. But another series that I have currently on the go is the Dirty Air series by Lauren Asher, and I decided to pick up book 2, which is about Sophie and Liam, and I loved this book so much. This was another 5-star read. I love Lauren's writing style. It's so good. It's got a sprinkling of spice. It's got such a beautiful story. To give you a brief description about what this one was about, so you have Sophie, whose dad is one of the team's kind of managers, and then you've got Liam, who actually races for the opposing team. So it's kind of like a, I don't want to say enemies to lovers because they're not necessarily enemies, but they almost should be enemies. It's an age gap romance, which I haven't actually read many of before, and I did actually really like it. It wasn't like creepy age gap romance. That's really hard to say. But it was just a normal age gap, if that makes sense. I love this book. I will say pages 26 and 27 absolutely broke me, and I could not believe what I was reading when I was reading it. So that was just a lot, but the overall book was an absolute gem, and I loved it so much, and I'm so excited to continue on with this series. I have 2 more books left, and I've heard the 4th one is the best one, so I'm really looking forward to it. I have the 3rd one on my May TBR, so hopefully I can get through that this month. But yeah, absolutely insane. Loved this book so much. Would highly recommend this series if you want a good, I don't know how to describe it, like a spicy romance series. I will say it's all about Formula 1 as well, so all the boys in the series are Formula 1 racers, which is exciting. But yeah, it was just insane. I absolutely loved it. 1,000,000 out of 10. So good. So those are all of the books that I read throughout April. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, I would love to know down below what you read in April, what you would recommend me to read, and any books that you love. I just love to know, and we can have a little book chat in the comments. But that is everything for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching as always. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.